All right. Let's see. Okay. Um, all right, guys. So I'm gonna make it real quick. Unfortunately, it took me a few times recording, so forgive me if I'm trying to make it as quick as possible. I do not want to waste your time. Okay, so my idea with this project was really, my idea with this project was really to create an app that will show me and teach me a little bit about how I can use AES in a real world setting. So kind of like how I can use encryption. Let's say if I want to develop an app for for a client or for a personal project, and I want to make sure that some key and vulnerable data is safe. Because especially if you're using databases, if you're using cloud storage or internal storage when it comes to cell phones, you don't know who can hack a cell phone nowadays, and where it's really vulnerable when it comes to that. So you want to make sure that on your side and the developer side, you really encrypted the data in a safe and um, really solid way to make sure that data is protected even in an event of some data breach or some event where someone else can view some of your data, or just in case. So I thought that an Android app would be the best way to really provide a chance to create something that would be useful in your real world. Should I really need to use some encryption? So what the app does, it enables the customer to set an appointment and store an appointment info into the database, and it uses AES encryptions to encrypt the client's name in the database. The reason I only encrypted the client's name and not the date or time is mainly I just wanted to see how the encryption works. And number two is I thought this would be a sensitive information, whereas date and time of an appointment, if you're a person that's providing the services and you would be at your office anyway, then it doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that the client's personal information is safe. So that's why I only encrypted the name. All right. So the methodology for that, the user opens up a main menu and clicks make an appointment, and he then is prompted to enter desired name, date, and time, and via an alert window, and then date and time pickers, which allow for easy and comfortable user interface. And then encrypt data using AES and store everything in a database. So real quick and easy there. Let's see. And now, sorry, this is all open. All right. So in Android, as most of you or all of you may know, then everything is comprised of activities, which are instances. There's just windows, and then you can choose how you navigate through or how you activate different actions in that window. So, I use my database helper and AES helper to encrypt and store the information. And right here, as you can see, I already made a connection into the database and created a database entry right off the bat, because I just really wanted to make sure that all the data that is stored, um, I can store it whenever and not have to open it beforehand. So as I mentioned, there's going to be three buttons. This is the appointment button, make an appointment button, and in my activity, I really chose to set all the events to trigger all of them by an on-click listener right here. I thought there would be a really easy way to make sure, once a click on a button is happening, it pops up the alert dialog. So you pop up the alert dialog, and then as you see, we have an alert dialog, and it asks for a name. Once we make sure that the name is not, empty, so that there is actually a name, then we move on to create a new AES instance, and then as you see here, the try catch. Obviously, you want to surround everything with a try and catch, just to make sure, as an app developer, the worst thing you can have is a app crashing on a client. So I did try to, have some exceptions and everything wherever I could. So here I used actually, a string as a key. I know it's not the safest, but I just thought, for the sake of just seeing the methodology and how it's implemented, to just get it right out the gate and not waste my time trying to do a random key generator. All right, so as I mentioned, it implements, AES right here, encrypts the data, and then we move on to select the date and time. Then we close the dialog. All right, so let's take a look at the AES helper. It's really quick, really easy to understand. All I'm gonna mention really quickly is the crypto library. If you guys are looking more into creating your own Android apps and developing some apps that are requiring of encryption, then I would really recommend to check out the library. It is really, really useful when it comes to this stuff. So, you know, uh, here with the cipher, you can choose a lot of different type of encryptions. Um, so mine, I just did AES and I stored it as a string because that's the only one that I'll be using. But I recommend if you're going into cipher, really checking out the different options that you have. So we take so this is how we encrypt everything. You can see it here. That's it. So we generate a key, then we use it and encrypt it, and then we return the encrypted value and store it into the database. So let's right now I'll just show you a quick example of my app and how it works. So this is already open. So as I mentioned, this is really bare bones, but the idea was really to just have an app for a service provider and have a user really just click in and be able to make an appointment whenever he wants. So, okay, let's go into it. Make an appointment. Bear with me. My computer is not that strong. It might take a few minutes to do everything. So we're entering the name. Let's see. Submit. Once you click submit, it goes into a date and time picker. I'm also going to highly recommend, date and time pickers. They're really good because it's really, really easy to store the information afterwards and, with the same type of formatting and whatnot. So it really saved me time into, sometimes when you, build an app or you have some scripts running, I think stuff that took me the most time is formatting my strings and data correctly. So this really saved me time. If you're an Android developer, I recommend you check that out for all date and time usages. So here we saved it. It should be right here. So let's see. This is not this one. Sorry. Synchronized. There you go. I just noticed that it was not synchronized and it was my last video attempt. So let's see. Hopefully it's synchronized right now. There it is. There you go. Now it's synchronized and this is the correct data. All right. We're going to save it to the desktop. Oh no. Desktop. Place. Alright. Let's open it up here. Alright, so as you see, this is the appointment we just made now. As I mentioned, the time and date are not encrypted. I just thought, I just wanted to see if the format is working as well. The name, the sensitive info is encrypted. The key takeaways for me was really more that I learned about AES encryption, and as I did a lot of analysis on the Google Play store, and I I've attached some articles that I found in my write-up that nowadays when anyone can really develop an application and submit it to the store and whatnot, and there's millions of applications right there. I think the information security and encryption is really lacking nowadays. In actually in real world applications that we all use in everyday life. So that's the key takeaway that I've had from this class and from making this application. Is there's a lot of developers that are really responsible with the client's data. That's number one. Number two, if I would continue this project, what I would work on is have a database viewer, kind of application or activity for whatever the provider is. So if it's a barber or anyone who's doing the services, that's the other thing that I would develop. That's the two key takeaways that I have, the conclusions, and as well as I mentioned, encryption. You gotta really plan it out from design perspective. You gotta really think about you know the business requirements before developing that app, and have that encryption in mind and see what methods you want to use before you sit down and write the application. So that's also a thing that I learned, making this app. All right, so guys, thank you very much for bearing with me. Hope you all have some great luck with your projects and in the next semester. Professor, thank you very much for an incredible semester, and see you later. Thank you very much.